with me, where we talk about making great music, connecting with your audience, and growing your business. And I have to share something pretty funny with you today. It's one of those like Murphy's Law, like totally ironic kind of things. But last week, if you checked out the podcast or my live video, you saw that I worked really hard to figure out OBS, which is the Open Broadcasting System, to be able to Facebook Live from my computer because I just felt more comfortable with that. I wanted to be able to see my screen and eventually learn how to share my screen. So I did all that. It was like a lot of trial and error, a lot of testing. It took me several hours, figured it out, and lo and behold, I look this week on my page, and sure enough, I now can live stream from my Bree Noble Music Facebook page. So what the heck, Facebook? Why did you wait until I went through all that trouble? But anyway, I am so happy because now I'm able to do it from my page and I don't have to worry about using this other software and it, all these things working together. So I am doing it from my Bree Noble Music page right now. Eventually, hopefully my Women of Substance page will have that. Right now it doesn't have it. So they haven't rolled it out to everyone. So if you're looking for this on your page, go look and see what kinds of posts that you can do on your page. And if it says create a live stream, then you have that available. Otherwise, it hasn't been rolled out to you yet. So I wanted to give you that little tip before I got into my content for today. So as you guys know, I like to do interviews on the show, and I'm now also rolling out 2 weeks a month doing a live show on Facebook. And this month, I'm actually doing 2 shows in a row, a live show on Facebook to talk about some concepts that I think are super important for you guys in the beginning of the year, especially because if you guys have paid any attention to what I'm doing here, I'm trying to bring you guys entrepreneurial concepts to musicians because a lot of musicians aren't utilizing all the knowledge and specific systems that entrepreneurs use to grow their business. And I believe that that is going to take your guys' businesses to the next level. I know it did for mine. So I want to talk to you about something that's I know is going to help your productivity in 2017, and that is setting up an accountability system for yourself. And specifically, I want to talk about having accountability partners or being in a mastermind. So for me, this has been really, really important. It has been a major thing in my business since I have been pretty much doubling my business every year. And even as when I was a touring musician, I had a mastermind and accountability, and it was everything to me. It helped me be not isolated, not feel like I was doing everything myself. I know many of you guys feel that way, and I don't want you to feel that way because that will make you feel stuck. So that's why I'm introducing this concept of accountability, and I'm a huge proponent of it. I created my free Facebook group, the Female Indie Musician Community, to help with this, and I'm also very, very big on it in my academy. So I want to explain to you guys what accountability partners are, why you need them, how to find them, and how to work them into your daily life, and what kind of a system you want to set up for that. So first of all, why do we need accountability? Well, I can tell you from experience, I need accountability to get things done, to have this other system other than my own conscience and my own kind of systems that I set up for productivity to make sure that I get things done. I kind of need this other person out there that I need to go report to and tell them that I did what I said I was going to do. So for example, I have a mastermind meeting tomorrow with my group, and I had told them I was going to do a few things. And it got down to today, and I hadn't done all the things that, wow, this necklace is really getting stuck in my headphones. Sorry about that. It's distracting me. Okay. I had not done all the things that I said that I was going to do, and here it is Wednesday, and I was meeting with them tomorrow. Well, I have a sick daughter home from school, and it made it, of course, even harder for me to get the things done I said I was going to get done. And I could have just said, you know what, I totally have a pass this week. I've got a sick kid. I, don't have time to do these things. The day's pretty much shot, so I'm not going to do it. And instead, I thought in the back of my mind, I told my mastermind that I was going to do these things, and I need to tell them tomorrow that I did them because it's important to me. It's important to me to, be accountable to them, to save face, to, just be a person of my word. And, sometimes, yes, life does get in the way. And every once in a while, I do let things slide for a good reason. But it's just that little extra motivator. So I am doing all the things that I said I would because I have to report to them tomorrow. So that's the main reason that I think accountability is important, besides not feeling alone in this musician journey. Another great reason to have accountability is you have people to celebrate with. I'm very big on talking about our wins. In both my free group and my paid academy, we always have Wins Wednesday, and we have things like Milestone Monday. And, I report everybody's wins in the academy every week because I think it's important to celebrate with each other. If you have an individual accountability partner or a small group, it's even cooler to talk about your wins. And it just feels so good to get that, personal, reflection from somebody that you hang out with every week, that like, wow, you really are doing a good job. The other thing is to have somebody to commiserate with when things aren't going well, and to have that sympathy, empathy, support system. I know, I have had things happen in my business, usually tech related, where I had all these grandiose plans, I set all these things up, and then it just totally crashed and burned. And the first thing I did is went to my mastermind, basically seeking solace, wanting to have a pity party, saying, has this ever happened to you? What should I do? And, I got so much support from them, and I felt like I wasn't alone, and like, oh yeah, this happened to me. And, it turned out that it was so much less of a big deal than I thought it was. And, so it's just so helpful to have somebody to go to that understands what you're going through, can commiserate with you, can kind of pick you up and put you back on your feet. And that's another great thing about having accountability. So let's talk about where you're going to find accountability partners. Now, I already mentioned a few places. If you have a program that you're in, like the Academy, you can definitely find great accountability partners there. You can find them in free groups on Facebook. For example, my female indie musician community. There's over 1,400 women in there now. You'll definitely be able to find some kindred spirits in there. There's other Facebook groups, of course, for independent musicians. There's also, possibilities of finding people in your area. If you live in a bigger area than I do, I live in a tiny town, but if you live in any kind of metropolitan area, there's got to be other musicians that you can network with. And, if you find somebody that's maybe not in your exact genre, but they're local, it's so helpful to just have someone to go to coffee with, bounce ideas off of, and be that accountability to each other live. Somehow it feels even better. But if you can't do it live, I have had an accountability partner I've worked with for over 2 years, and we've done it on the phone every single time. Never met each other in person, and I still feel like I really know her. So, there's no reason you can't do that. Nowadays, you can do things like Zoom meetings. Zoom is completely free I think it's like a meeting up to 40 minutes you can have for free. Or you can use Skype, or Google Hangouts. I mean, there's so many ways to meet up with people online now that you can really feel like you're having an in-person meeting. So definitely consider that. So I get this question all the time, is it okay to have more than one accountability partner? Definitely. You can have one, and you can have what I call like a mini mastermind, where you have like 3 or 4. I would try not to go more than 4 people, just because the meetings get too long and it's too complicated. But what's helpful about a small mastermind like that, is that if somebody can't show up for some reason, you still have 3 people, or you still have 2 people if one can't show up and there's 3 of you. So there's always that accountability there instead of having to rely on just one person in case something happens, in their life and they can't show up. So I want to talk about I think I've got six things you want to look for in an accountability partner. So one big thing to me is finding somebody that's in a similar stage of career as you are. So, I talk a lot about what I see as the 5 stages of music career growth. And it's not like you have to be in the exact same stage, but it's important to be in similar stages because you don't want to have one person being somebody who's just starting out. They don't even have a website. They don't have any albums. They don't have any fans. And then you've got somebody else that maybe has 1,500 people on their email list and they've got 3 albums and they're touring. Those are not a good match. You want to match with somebody that is on a similar level to you, but if you can find somebody that's just a little ahead of you, because then you're going to learn from everything that they've done. And if they're willing to do that, that's what's great about having a group that's a little bit bigger, because then you can have 3 or 4 people that are on similar levels but not exactly the same. I mean, that's how it is with my mastermind, and we learn so much from each other because anything that comes up, usually one of us has gone through it and can help the rest. So that's one big thing, is similar career level. Another one is work ethic. This is a big one because you don't want to be in a relationship with someone who's just kind of like, oh, whatever, like wherever the wind blows me, this week I'm really serious about my career, but next week I might have moved on to something else. You need to have somebody that has a similar work ethic to you, that is willing to really put in the time, put in the effort, and really, focus and actually do the tasks that they're saying that they're going to do. Otherwise, you're just going to be frustrated, and that is going to be a relationship that is just, going to drain you instead of energize and help you. So another thing you want to look for is personality. Personality is really important. Find someone that you gel with. And I realize that's hard to do online sometimes, but even just having kind of an initial meeting to get to know each other before you decide to be accountability partners. I have seen some people in my groups do that just to make sure that you're a good fit. And I think that's really important because you want to make sure that, you feel comfortable sharing certain things with them, that they, sometimes some people are just really, really private, and, the other person is really, really outgoing, and that might not be a good fit, yet, or maybe it might be a good fit. So you just need to kind of gauge that by trying it out sometimes. Another thing that could be important is your business model. So, some people are like all about touring all the time and, doing tons of festivals and, house concerts and being all over, in different countries and stuff. And other people just want to only be in their local area when they're touring or not tour at all. Or some people are, they think that they can just make all their music and sell it online and never perform live, So people have different ways of looking at their business as a musician. And I think it's important to take this into account when you're finding an accountability partner, because you might be speaking different languages. I mean, I know that, me being an online course creator and coach and running a membership site, if I were to have an accountability group with somebody who ran a coffee shop in town, it wouldn't make any sense at all because we're doing totally different things. We don't speak each other's language. They would have no idea, anything about online courses and membership sites and tech and all the things that I do, and I wouldn't understand about suppliers and all the things that they deal with and clientele and everything for a local business. So just try to find somebody that has similar ideas of what they want to do with their music career. That is very helpful. Another thing would be let's see. Another thing would be genre. So you don't have to be in the same genre, and sometimes it's good to have somebody in a different genre than you. but maybe having one person that's like a hip hopper and another person that's a Celtic person, it might not make sense. You might just be in such different worlds that you wouldn't speak the same language. So that's something to take into consideration. And finally, the last thing to consider is commitment. It's kind of similar to work ethic, but I'm talking about commitment to this process. Like, are you really going to come to the meetings? Do you really have a deep desire to have accountability and to, network and to get to know other musicians? Are you committed to actually doing what you say when you say you're going to do something in a meeting? So that's also a hard thing to tell in advance. And, so if you try out an accountability partner and it doesn't work, that's nothing wrong with you or them. It might just be a bad match. It's just like going on a date and you don't click, that's totally fine. Nobody needs to feel bad about it. For example, I have a fantastic accountability partner I've had for 2 years, but at one point, our businesses kind of started going in a little different directions. And I felt like, you know what? I really want to stay accountability partners with her, but I need to like maybe only take that once a month and have specific things that I'm accountable to her for, and then have a different group for more specific ongoing stuff. And so we both kind of agreed, yeah, like, her business is going this way, mine is going this way, but we still want to stay connected. And, so neither of us feels bad about that. We're just realizing that that makes more sense for that accountability relationship. So let's talk about your meetings and how to set those up. Number one, set up a time. I recommend once a week, at least at first. I have a mastermind that meets every 2 weeks at this point. I have another person I'm meeting with once a week and another person I'm meeting with once a month. I know that might sound a little complicated, but they're all kind of for different things and different reasons, and it just really helps me stay on track. So, do it how you want, but set up something that's regular, that you have on your calendar, that you're all committed to, whether there's two of you or more than that, and that you will not break. Like, the most important thing about accountability is showing up. And, don't just go, oh, I'm too busy this week, I can't do that. Or this week is going terrible. I don't even want to talk about what's going on in my business right now. I just want to hide in a hole. We all have weeks like that. That is the time, more than anything, that you need to meet with your accountability partners. So do your best, if you're going to really commit to this accountability thing, to keep your word. Show up for your meeting, make sure it's on your calendar, make sure you all show up and do the work. Secondly, I would say with accountability meetings, you need to make sure you stay on task. So, sometimes you can get into great conversations about music. I definitely have, or, whatever it is you're talking about. I've gotten into conversations about healthy eating, with my mastermind, and every once in a while we have to like rein it back in, and that's fine, but have an agenda for your meeting. My suggestion is talk about your wins, then talk about what you're working on right now, anything you're struggling with that you need advice, and then give a couple of things that you're going to do before you meet the next time, and that they are supposed to hold you accountable for. And we tend to do this on an individual basis instead of going around and doing all the wins. I think it's just easier to kind of do each person individually, their wins, then what they're working on, if they have any struggles, need advice, and then what they're going to be accountable for next time. And, keep that, depending on how many people you have, keep that to, I would say, 15 minutes if you can. Sometimes it can go a little over, and then like maybe one other person doesn't have a lot that they need help with this week and another person does. It does kind of ebb and flow that way, but do it that way. Keep an agenda, and sometimes it's good to assign one person to keep the agenda and make sure you stay on task and kind of time things so it doesn't get out of control. And then finally, make sure that you've given yourself an assignment and that everybody knows what it is for the next time you meet, and that you're accountable to them to actually do that. So, like I said, I am going to go to my mastermind tomorrow and say, I told you I'd do these things. I did them. This is what happened. Now this is what, because I did those things, now my next step is this, and, and it continues on. but I just wouldn't want to go back there tomorrow and say, I know I said I was going to contact these three people and I was going to, set up this thing, but I actually didn't do any of those things. I would be totally embarrassed to do that. And that's one great thing about accountability, the peer pressure and then like the personal pressure that I put on myself to not show up empty-handed. And that is one of the best things about accountability. So I hope you guys got a lot out of that. I gave you a really in-depth training on accountability because for me, it's extremely important. And I hope that it will be important for you in your business. And on that note, I want to mention, because accountability has become so important to me, I have been doing something called the Get More Done in Less Time and Grow Your Musician Business training. It's a 5-day challenge where I help you go through 5 exercises that will really help you develop a time management system that's personalized to you. And the reason this relates to accountability is I suggest that everybody who goes through this challenge gets an accountability partner to at least stay accountable during this challenge so you get all the things done, because it's amazing to me to see the progress that people make during this challenge and when it's only 5 days, but they are just like floored at how much they've done, even though it's only taking them 20-30 minutes a day to do the assignments, because I try to make them really digestible and really doable for everybody, because I know some people have full-time jobs. And so I recommend that when you do this challenge, you get an accountability partner because it is so helpful. And not only that, but then a lot of people maintain their accountability partner afterward, and they carry that on into all their future things that they're doing. And it just becomes a great relationship of bonding and supporting each other. So if you are interested in doing this 5-day training with us, we've already got a lot of people signed up. We had over 100 people do it last time in December. We are starting it on January 23rd, which is, if you're listening to this live, it's Monday, starting next Monday, January 23rd. Go on over to femmusician.com/challenge. That's F as in female, E as in entrepreneur, musician.com/challenge, and sign up for the challenge. You'll be getting some really specific and easy tasks to do every day in your email box. It'll give you access to our private Facebook group just for the challenge, where of course you can find some great accountability partners, or you can ask some of your musician friends to do it with you and become your accountability partner, and just send them to femmusician.com/challenge to sign up as well. And you guys will all get the challenges. I'll be doing live streams like this every day, answering your questions and just helping you as you get stuck throughout, and making sure that everything is clear in the assignments. And it's just so fun for me to go through and help you guys individually with your goal setting and your planning and all the things that we do in that 5 days. So go on over to femmusician.com/challenge and find yourself an accountability partner in that group, or bring somebody with you and have them sign up as well. So I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me today. It's been super fun, and hopefully all goes well with this new Facebook live stream, and this continues to be as easy as it was today, and I can bring you these trainings in both video and audio. So have an awesome day, and remember to continue to make great music, connect with your audience, and grow your business.